Important to remember is that your health is your wealth. So if you don't focus on your own wellness, you actually are committing suicide, if I put it like that. So for you to be proactive as an employee, knowing when you are not well.
99 FM, your inspiration station. DJ Snake and Justin Bieber on that one, Let Me Love You, bringing us to today's MYD Heart. Today we're talking about employee wellness, and we're joined in studio by managing consultant from Hito HR and training consultants, Miss Lisa Matomola, who's going to share with us what employee wellness exactly is. Good afternoon to you, Lisa, and thank you so much for joining us here at 99.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
It is a pleasure to have you. Lisa, please tell us, what exactly is employee wellness and why does it matter so much? Why is it so important?
Employee wellness is primarily focusing on the importance of the health of employees in the workplace, especially making sure that you reduce health issues such as being sick, any injuries in the workplace, and focusing more in terms of productivity and their well-being, because the healthier the workforce, the more productive it is. So wellness is important. You can't have employees that are not well, that are not fine, because they'll be absent from work, and your strategic objectives depends on their presence, or not just presence, but working from wherever they are delivering the work. So their well-being is of utmost importance, and just making sure they not just physical wellness, emotional wellness. We're talking about COVID-19 right now. We've seen people losing loved ones, colleagues, and stuff like that. So that whole emotional state is also critical.
And not forgetting mental well-being is also very important, especially in the workplace.
Exactly.
Just to mention another one. How can employees be proactive about their own wellness in the workplace, not only focusing on, the employer, wondering and worrying about the employee wellness, but what can we do as employees for our own wellness in the workplace?
Important to remember is that your health is your wealth. So if you don't focus on your own wellness, you actually are committing suicide, if I put it like that. So for you to be proactive as an employee, knowing when you are not well. So they say it's okay not to be fine. Sometimes we shy away from talking about even our mental state, personal disorders. If you have any psychological disorders, any conditions that because of the stigma that comes with it and the discrimination. And right now, when there are a lot of retrenchments and job losses, people would rather come to work even though they are not fine, even though they are not feeling well. So it's very important to know that I like joking and say, when you go, it's easy to replace you, but now your wellness, when your family loses you, they will never ever find you. So it's really important as an employee to know when you are not okay, and it can even be linked to burnout. So we work long hours.
Yes.
You want to reach your targets and all that, and that can affect you physically, emotionally, mentally. Stress as well becomes an issue, which can really affect and prevent you from being productive. So it's really important to know when you are not fine, and just admit and say, I think I need to take a break off.
Yeah. It brings me to my next question, Lisa. What are some of the ways in which employers can care for the mental, physical, and emotional well-being of their staff members?
Now more than ever, it's important for employers to take employee wellness into part of their people strategy, because if it's not there, COVID-19 taught us a lot of things. So without your employees, your absenteeism will be high, because people will be taking sick leave. They can even go to a doctor and say, book me off. And when people are not off, your insurance and medical aid fees, they go up. So it can affect the company financially in terms of their cost and the benefits when it comes to employees. So having initiatives in the workplace targeted at reducing or minimizing health issues. So we've seen some companies create things like virtual gyms gyms where people can exercise. If you're working from home, you exercise. Sending out information, awareness, inviting maybe specialists, having a psychologist or psychological counselor, somebody to talk to, and just opening doors and say, if you want to talk, if you're not okay, this is what is in place. Also, communicating in terms of what benefits are there, what can we do for you as an employer in terms of contributing to your wellness, not just about being work driven and productivity, but focusing on the well-being of the employees
as well. Yeah, and I think it's also important, like you mentioned, that if you burnout is also a thing, and sometimes you do feel guilty when you want to take leave because there's work to be done. But if you're not okay, like you say, if you're not physically okay, if you're not mentally okay, if you're not emotionally okay, it's okay to tell your boss, hey, listen, I need a week or I need 2 days just to get myself together before I can come back to work. And it shouldn't be an issue, because right now more than ever, people are definitely in that state of mind of emotional, not being emotionally okay or mentally okay. And it's because of how the world is right now. So I definitely agree with that point, Lisa. Finally, how can employees deal with stress in the workplace? What are the 3 things you can recommend right now for employees in the workplace on how they can deal with stress?
Stress is everywhere. It's inevitable. It's part of the job. Depending on the environment that you are in. And when you are not okay, it actually contributes to your stress, because you are building up all this pressure and all these emotions. So you need to displace it on somebody. And to manage stress, exercise is one of the most recommended stuff. Keeping a journal. Time management is very important, because the reason people sometimes find themselves in stressful situation is because they fail to plan their work, or they are overloaded with work. So if you are a manager, if you are a team, helping one another so that if you can go home at 5, I can also go home at 5. But exercising, your food is also very important. What you take in. I was actually reading before I came here that the more obese you are in the workplace, the harder it is for you to cope, and you can easily even snap at people because you are stressed and you're not that confident. So exercise and rest. I believe in rest. I have a strategy where I say Saturday is my day off, switch off. I know there are deadlines, but when you just have that moment to say, I'm gonna take a break, even if it's at work, and you say 15 minutes, we have what we call the 15 minutes rule. You do a task, but you have a 15 minutes break, and then you continue again. So you just manage and take a break off, because if you don't, we will lose you.
Yeah, it's true. Lisa, thank you so much for coming through to talk to us about employee wellness. It is very important in the workplace, especially right now, for employers to be concerned and want to be involved in the employees' wellness and the state of mind and their physical state as well. So thank you for coming to share with us that very important conversation that we have with you right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. Lisa Matomola in studio. She is the managing consultant at Hito HR and Training Consultants. We're talking about employee wellness. It's very important to note that, especially right now, if you feel like you're stressed and overworked and overwhelmed, take a break and don't feel guilty about it. Put your phone off, delete Facebook, delete Instagram, delete all of those, distractions if you are going to take a day or 2 off away from work, just to get yourself back together and to get back into that space of mind where you are okay. Do that for yourself, because it's very important. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to perform in the workplace if you don't take care of yourself. And that was MYD Heart for today.